All right, so you had the fights on the field. And
it was ugly.
How did they get control of it? Was it the head coach just screaming cuss words at everybody that got everybody's attention?
Players diffused it.
Yeah, I think the players took care of it.
And then he jumped in. You know what I mean? Huddled everybody up, got it situated, and
once the players diffused, then Callie went off.
Yeah.
So did it start because Jeffery Simmons got the best of Skoronski and J.C. Latham took up for his guy?
So there were two. There was an early scuffle and then the next kind of big scuffle. I think it started, Mason Kinsey had a DB pinned down, and I don't remember what DB it was.
It was actually Rashad Weaver is what I read. I don't know how he ended up with Rashad Weaver, but...
Oh.
Maybe it came in motion.
I didn't see who it was.
Yeah, I couldn't see what it was.
Because immediately, so Kinsey had him pinned down and stayed there, didn't get up, right? Which...
Okay, yeah. That frustrated,
get your
especially
A
in the heat
up and get back to the huddle and let's go, right? Come on, Kinsey. But that kind of started it all, and then everybody, the scrum automatically goes in, and then you can't see anything because there's so many players. But I did see, who was it? Anthony Kendall, who is a corner, comes running in, throwing a punch. I did see that. I'm like, dude, really? You're fighting for a roster spot. Don't be doing that. But anyway, and then Big Jeff came in, and that all blew up. But I'll say this. Big Jeff was talking all practice. Yeah. And he was getting on Cushenberry. Cushenberry, I think, Slay, you can help me here. You were watching too. But Cushenberry messed up a snap, which was very uncharacteristic for him. And so then all of a sudden, Big Jeff is like, oh, he's scared. Yeah. They're scared. And so Big Jeff is egging it all on.
Yeah.
And then I think the Big Jeff, J.C. Latham stuff was going on the entire time. And honestly, I think that's a vet leader in the NFL being like, hey, Rook, welcome to the league.
He was trying to get it out of him.
I
could totally see that.
Egging him on.
Listen, we've been doing this.
Poking it. I mean,
we've been doing this a long time, right? And so a lot of people in the chat are like, look, head coaches don't want fights. They don't. Because of
it's a waste
injury,
of time and
it's a waste of time, yes.
Energy.
But I'm telling you, man, every year we go, who's going to be the first fight? And I was just thinking about that this morning. We didn't do it this year.
It's going to happen regardless. And
it's always the trench guys.
I would have absolutely said that the first fight would be because of Big Jeff. Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah. And I'm okay with that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Or Arden Key. Amani Hooker was on with Buck. Remember we talked about this, and Buck asked him who's the biggest trash talker out there, and he said, well, mean trash talker, Big Jeff. Funny trash talker, Arden Key. Mm-hmm. And so, no surprise that Big Jeff. And look, we've been around these guys a long time. I know people have very strong opinions one way or the other about all of this, and we'll get to it all. I just know, having been around a lot of those dudes, when you get leadership in the trenches, they do this stuff on purpose.
And listen,
on both sides of the ball.
Both sides of the ball.
I was just going to say, here's the
They're
other thing.
They're challenging young players. That's what. My guess. He didn't say that. I'm just guessing.
My take was he was challenging Latham, welcome to the league, buddy.
Stand up for yourself.
Stand up for yourself. And he did. Latham did. Absolutely. Went back at Jeff. I think this entire offensive line has an attitude to them that we haven't seen here in 3 years.
Since Lawan, Southall, Ben Jones, all them guys.
Those boys had that kind of swagger attitude. Now, I'm not saying that means they're going to be great or not, but I'm just saying with Skoronski, with Latham, with Cushenberry, those three guys right there have an attitude to them as a whole that we haven't seen in a while. And so I think that Big Jeff probably was like, wait a second, I'm not used to the offensive line coming back at me, So that probably had something to do with it. But I will say this, and Slay, I want your take on the whole thing too, and then we'll get into the deeper part. But I didn't have an issue with it until it got so out of hand that, it stopped practice. Callahan has to lose his mind over it. And then you look at Big Jeff, and Big Jeff is gassed because he just used all of his energy to get in this brawl and be a big part of it. And that's where I was like, okay, now the line has crossed, because you can be aggressive and you can skate on that line in a practice, especially the first padded practice. But when it affects your ability to work the next couple of plays and it stops practice and wastes time, that's when you have an issue. But at the end of the day, it happens every single camp all across the league. It's the first day of pads. It's different. And you've got some rookies that on the offensive line that are going to have to step up and step in. So I didn't have a huge issue with that part of it, with Big Jeff running his mouth and whatever. It was when it got out of hand where, as a leader, I thought Big Jeff needed to step back and say, okay, I've set the tone. I established this. Now let's get to work.
You know, it's the reaction to the fighting, since we're just talking about that right now. The strong reaction by some fans to the fighting has really surprised me, because this happens every year.
Every year.
The Colts just had one. Michael Pittman was it happens at every team, every practice. It's hot. They're leaning on each other, especially the guys in the trenches, and there becomes a frustration level where you just snap.
And Slay, before you offer your take on it, like Matt in the chat said, Big Jeff looked like a clown today. Don't expect this group to be real, though. Would Eddie ever do it? Derek, Chris Johnson, Keith Bullock, McNair. I could go on and on. Jeff is a clown. Yeah, Keith Bullock would do it and dominate that. And he was a leader and one of the best on the field.
He actually tweeted this morning.
Yes.
He said day one in padded practice where the men separate themselves from the boys.
Yep.
See, this is where, guess what? Honestly, it's not supposed to be any understanding in this part of it between fans and players. It's not supposed to be. This is what it is. This happens. If this would have happened 3-4 weeks down the line with preseason about to get in the thick of things, then we got a problem, because it ain't no pulling back. Now we're a little bit out of control. But day one coming in and we not in shells, we in full pass and it's early. Like we just coming
8
from
a.m.
Yeah, we coming from stretching, we coming from individuals. This is our first time getting 11 on 11, and I've been waiting on it.
And
y'all
it's
been
still
waiting
hot.
on it too. And
I
it's
know
still
it's
hot.
early, but it was hot.
Without question. And you got to think, man, you said, Babsy, that this line, you don't want to go out there and say this line going to be all that. I'm here to say, I done watched lines grow before, being in the spot that I've been able to be in, and when they start with a nucleus like this, this line going to be awesome. You know what I mean? Not yet, but this line going to be awesome, because you got a nucleus from that left, that center, all the way over to that left side that ain't going. That are alpha males who coming in there and want to work together, and you can see it growing. So
and aren't going to step down from Big Jeff.
Can't wait to. No, they want to. And guess what? Big Jeff got a rider next to him too. His name is Big Sweat. He gonna ride too. Guess who behind him? Davison. What's the other? It's about 3-4 D tackles. All of them ready to get down. That's what it is. That's what you want to have. That's the coach you want to have. So look, when you go into it in this situation, and it's a fight to start, good. I'm looking around to make sure everybody in it. D-Hop was in it. Everybody's like, that's what's supposed to happen, man. Yes, you are different units and you all ride as one. But when we out here, man, we grinding together, man. Everybody better jump in. It's a part of it. Now you got the pecking order set, and it's still gonna have to get set some more. This started last week in shells. Skoronski's not going, people. You looking for a dog? 2 years, if that man ain't a Pro Bowler, he'll be an All-Pro. I'm on the limb. And if he ain't, it's because this market we in, and they just bullshitting over us. Now, I'm just like that. But outside of that, Latham, he coming with him. He ain't going to leave him left, man. Big Jeff is setting the tone. He is the leader of this group. Anybody that say you ain't, you a fool. And you wouldn't say that to him. This is the same person that you cheer for that go out there with a battered ankle, that can barely walk and still continue to play. He wasn't soft then. He wasn't a clown then. Like, why is he a clown now? Because he's setting the tone? This is what you want. You ain't seen tough in a long time. You wonder why people kept on getting hit behind the line. You got a guy like Derrick Henry that's getting hit 5 yards behind the line? Because they ain't firing off and fighting.
Because the offensive line was soft.
About? Man, listen here, man. This is how it's supposed to be. And get back used to it. You got an old school coach that sat down with RK Dub today, Bill Callahan, and had a great interview and talked about it. This is what you understand is supposed to happen. This is a different type of game, different type of mentality. And It can get pushed because you got two people angry. It's alpha on alpha, man.
So guess
why wouldn't it happen that way?
Guess what happens when they start playing other people?
Come on, dog.
Yeah, so real angry.
And guess who's gonna be questioning
that's what
them?
it should be.
When they come to the sideline, hey dog, why you not doing him like you did us in day one of practice?
Somebody in the chat said brothers fight.
Come on, man. This is what happened.
Until
I've
they
never
go
been a
against
part of
somebody
a
else.
good team. Never been a part of a good team where it's not fights. Never.
So
People mention that bully team.
yeah.
I mean, Alvin Haynesworth
Finnegan?
and all those
Come on,
guys,
dog.
they were fighting all the time.
Come on, man. This is what it's about, man.
And guess what?
Since day one.
Guess what kind of mindset that team had when they got to the regular season? They're all together.
Day one
fighting together.
impasse, man. Day one impasse. So don't get overthrown with it. Yes, it's kids out there. It's also kids in the stand when they watching the game. If you get close enough to sit behind bench, you will hear all kind of things being said. That's just a part of it, y'all.
I remember as a kid sitting behind Coach K on the bench.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have the opportunity
And
to say,
that's Coach
"Earmuffs."
K.
Yeah, like, come on, dog. So
I was indoctrinated early
I'm
into
fine
that
with it,
one.
y'all.
Now, a lot of people in the chat are saying this, okay, like our issue with Big Jeff is not the fight on the first day of pads. It's not how he handled that. Now, I did say I would have liked to see a little more leadership from him at the end of that to
But this is they ain't no basketball. We don't know what he said in the huddle, or what he said in the locker room, or what he gonna say in the film to his guys. Like it ain't gotta be on display for us.
But a lot of people are saying, I haven't seen anybody that cares about the fighting in practice. Kent says this, everyone I've seen that has issue with Big Jeff's reaction is because of what happened with Buck afterwards.
So we'll get to that. So if the Buck thing didn't happen, people would have a different opinion about what was going on today?
That's what they claim, but it's easy to claim that when it
all right. So
doesn't happen.
So you have something else?
Hell yeah, I got something else. When the line is drawn, talking about that situation with Buck, when the line is drawn, he said Big Jeff came out and said this.
Can I read Buck's tweet?
Go ahead.
And kind of work through that. So Buck tweeted this. Simmons just swung at Latham after some pushing and shoving. Ref said 98 would have been tossed in the game. He's back in for the next two and immediately starts a brawl. Sloppy. Simmons needs to lock TF in. So apparently, I don't know.
I didn't see him swing.
After practice.
I'll just say that, but
Big Jeff was in the building, came out of the building, I guess having read that tweet. I don't know.
Probably so.
He came out of the building to go sign autographs
for the kids. That was right there, yeah.
And all the kids were right in front of Buck's tent.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So when seeing
just to give it more perspective.
And it's a backdrop on that even more. Like when the last time that he was able to hear from Buck was when Buck went on a 15-minute tirade or 10-minute tirade, whatever it was, on his show and called him soft. So when you call a person soft, when you call a person soft in sports, and I'm telling you from an athletic
that's different
player
than walking
perspective,
yeah.
You call a person soft in the sport, that's like you might as well go spit on him or slap him.
Now, the reason Buck called him soft, not because of his play on the field, he called him soft because Big Jeff tweeted about the media
Tennessee
in this market, the Tennessee media trying to be all buddy and then turning around and honestly, I don't think Big Jeff was talking about Buck.
No, I think he just hit
Buck
dog
just
holler.
ran with it. Yeah. But he was not talking about. I mean, I'm sure he was.
I think he was talking in general. He threw it out there. It could have been anybody. But this is the thing: when you said that, and then you went on the tirade about that, knowing that was coming off the heels of Jamal Adams getting signed, and everybody throwing their hands up in the air. Nobody knew what he was signed for. Nobody knew if it was a high risk, high reward, or low risk, high reward, whatever it was. Everybody jumped on. Oh, Jamal Adams can't be doing it. And Big Jeff like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on, man. You don't even know what's going on. You ain't seen anything. So that was him coming in defense as as the leader of his team, as the captain, to defend his guys. Not him personally. I think Big Jeff, honestly, if it would have came at him at that point, he would have been like, all right, let's have a conversation. But going at my guy don't even got nothing to do with this. Let me go on and address this now. So it was handled like it was handled. This came out. Big Jeff approached it like he wanted to approach it and told Buck what he told him, and that was that on that. So and ain't no conversation that need to be had.
For those that don't know, Buck was live on the air getting ready to interview Roger McCreary. He was about to sit down and just started screaming stuff at Buck, and Buck was like, sit down, Jeff. I thought Buck handled today well.
Yeah, and I don't think Jeff should have sat down. Like, it ain't. What are you gaining from sitting down? I'm gonna say what I need to say. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's what it is. But the thing is, man, that I think that irritates guys, and it has a transparency that will get you'll get the blinds or the blackout curtains put down on it where it won't be no transparency. It's things like this. When you can go to a guy and you're in that same age bracket as him. So you're looked upon a little different than somebody a little older walking in there. You know what I'm saying? That's been covering. But you're on the, hey, man, what's up, man? Hey, how you doing? It's buddy. And then all of a sudden, however you want to take it, trolling or doing your job, whatever it is, you turn the story on them it's a way to deliver the story. You know what I'm saying? And everybody knows that. You can't play the fence. There is no gray area. You're either here or you're either there. The reason that you're the way you are with ESPN and coaches and stuff is because your delivery. You know what I'm saying? The reason coaches trust you, Babs, we're going to bring you in. Hell yeah, sit in this coaches meeting. Everybody don't get to sit in coaches meeting, do they? Night before a game? No, Babsy, sit right here. Reason being, because of your delivery. So you're not playing defense. Okay, if I need to protect you a little bit, maybe I'll protect you. If I need to do my job, I'm going to let you know I'm about to do my job. You got a problem with it? Let's talk about it first, and then I'm going to come out with it. It ain't no just going out and delivering like that.
This has probably happened to you, I'm sure, right?
Without question.
So as long as you know, like if I say, hey, Slay, we're good, man, I appreciate the relationship, all this.
Yeah.
I'm in the opinion business, though.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
And so that where you know where the line is.
And that's fine. So guess what? Now I understand. All right, there it is, man. So hey, man, we're going to keep it professional.
So you're going to keep it at arm's length.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. What's up, man?
I got you.
Keep it like that.
That makes sense.
And then I guard it with what I say, and I say around you as well. So that's why I think the problem lies, and that's why I'm taking it. I think Big Jeff is all the way in the right. I don't care what you say to him. That's a man. You can say what you want to say. Be prepared, whatever the consequences is that come with it.
See, and this is where me and you come from different backgrounds, and we're on different sides of the fence because I come from the media side. I know I played, but let's be honest, I played college volleyball. Like that, it's not like I had media covering me, every single day. You lived that life. You lived that professional athlete life, dealing with the media, digging on stories. You lived that.
That's why me and Chris Logan go to the final 8 and to the Elite 8 and have a great time.
Chris Lowe is about to go to his grave with
what I'm saying?
I mean, not about. God, that's not bad. One day, Chris Lowe will go to his grave. Sorry.
Just kill some low dog. Sorry, Low.
Yeah. But Chris Lowe will certainly one day go to his grave with secrets that he knows about you and that team and everybody. And he's protected you guys forever. I get it.
And I'm okay with that.
But this is where I'm different. And from a media standpoint, I understand what you're saying about Buck as far as both sides, but at the end of the day, it's not like you're going to go be a jerk to these players that you cover on a daily basis, but at the end of the day, you still have a job to do as a reporter if that is your job. Now, our job is a little different on this radio show. We're not
way different.
Well, I mean, we don't care to break news.
Right.
I mean, we still do.
We do because of relationships.
Right, but that is
You're not getting 60 minutes with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to have a good time.
Right, and we're good with that. But in Buck's kind of line of work, he is a reporter.
He is.
It is part of his job to speak truth about what's going on. His tweet today,
he's in the opinion business. I don't disagree on that
level. His opinion and his truth about what was going on at practice. I didn't disagree necessarily with it. I did disagree with the style at which Buck put that out. But I'll say this too. I'm not giving Big Jeff a pass on how he treated and reacted to Buck in the middle of his live radio show with Roger McCreary sitting down. I thought, as a leader, you've got to be the bigger man.
Yeah, and then when you bring it to my job, I'm bringing it to your job too.
But I know
Buck
how
handled it well.
He did handle it well,
Because
and I know
how else could he have handled it, though?
I mean,
That's my whole question.
You could get frazzled and, all kinds of, because that's not something.
I thought it was frazzled saying, I'll deal with you later. You deal with who later? Who the hell you going to deal with later? If you're talking to me, you deal with me later?
But inviting him to sit
down. What you mean, deal with me later?
This is where we're different because, and I get it.
You better off ignoring me. I'm sorry, my bad, man. I got you.
Yes, and you're talking about
For sure that, yeah.
The passionate player, I'm going to protect my team and this but my take is Big Jeff as the face of this franchise right now, the leader of this franchise, to me, has to keep his emotions in check. Go watch the Herm Edwards, don't press send. And at the end of the day, if you have beef with Buck, talk to him, but don't put yourself in this limelight to where now everybody nationally is questioning Big Jeff from a maturity leadership standpoint. And I don't think that's fair because I believe in Big Jeff as a leader and in his maturity. I think he just had a weak moment today.
I don't think.
And emotions were running high and all of this. It was kind of a perfect storm.
Man, they was going to judge him like this regardless anyway from the national media. I'm talking about the Tennessee media. Now he looking at it. So now, if that's the case and everybody grouped in together then, guess what? Who's going to respond now? So you ask me a question, I got the generic answer for you now then. And that's the way we're going to play it.
What'll happen.
No, that's the way I would play it.
From a fan standpoint, you're going to get less content.
Exactly.
That's how it affects fans.
Exactly.
All right, we'll talk more about this when we come back. If you want in, 615-737-1045. Also, we'll play that little interaction between Buck and Big Jeff when we come back. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Us, including us in your day, Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, and Ron Slay. Talking a lot of Titan stuff and fights and media player squabbles. Somebody said Buck and Big Jeff probably having a beer right now. And it's probably going to take longer than that.
I mean, this Buck thing has now gone viral, national.
An hour before the show, that video had 1.4 million views.
Yeah, the All-Pro. It's All-Pro. As small as we want to say the market is and how much we not covered, like, if
Doug Kleiman put it out there, but some of the boys put it out there.
If it would have been Roger McCreary, no knock to him, but you think it would have had the same kind of traction?
That's a great point.
You know what I mean? It's Big Jeff. Like Babs, you just said, he's the face of the franchise. Ain't no lie. He's the face of the franchise.
I want to go back to Sweat. So should it be Bigger Sweat?
No.
Big Jeff's a thing.
Yeah. Big Jeff T-Sweat.
T-Sweat. T-Sweat. That's it.
Make it last forever. T-Sweat.
His legs look like tree trunks in that picture next to Jeff.
But that's what it is, man, and that's where you get the line drawn, man, and you hate it because, like you said, the content and the transparency that's given out, they don't know.
That's where the fans are affected.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
because all the players now will lock it down.
That's what I'm saying. Because your leader is. If he chose to do that. Not saying that he would choose to do that. I'm just saying.
Maybe he won't. Maybe he doesn't.
Exactly.
Maybe he doesn't.
But Big Jeff don't.
He certainly could, though.
He don't know who Buck is like that. All he sees is what he sees from him. Or he don't know who I am like that. Well, he might know a little bit. But just saying, like, it's a line drawn, man, and you get grouped into that because of your media. You know what I'm saying? I'm media.
I hope they don't group us together.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But
because we talk about the transparency from this staff, from Rand, from Callie.
We love it.
And everybody, and we certainly appreciate that, especially from what we came from. So I hope that this doesn't make it go away.
How do you filter it, though? If you're a player.
Well, so...
Yeah, those guys will be a little different, probably.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. They ain't really got
certain
time.
people, but that's going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
By the way, we're watching 3-on-3. Did y'all know Jimmer Fredette is on the American 3-on-3?
He wanted to go the first time I think with him.
Hey, I love Jimmer.
Mm-hmm.
I love that guy. He does all these like trick
shots.
We're totally off the tracks here, but he does all these trick shots and puts them on social media and does it with his kids. He's awesome. Anyway,
wait, hang on.
What happened?
Dylan on YouTube. Jeff ain't running up on PK like that. PK stands on business and would have busted Big Jeff's head. You are so wrong with that take.
Seriously, PK apologizes after he's a jerk to everybody, hoping they'll still talk to him.
Stop it, man. Good
Lord. Sorry, I had to stop on that one.
Yeah, we ain't even going to acknowledge that.
YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch is where you can watch the show live.
Twitch, please.
And there are a ton of y'all watching on YouTube. I know that. So we appreciate that. All right, this is the interaction. This is as Buck Rising is doing his show today, and Roger McCreary is getting ready to sit down to have a conversation with Buck, and Big Jeff comes over.
What's going on, Jeff? Well, Jeff, you want to sit down? We can talk whenever you want to talk. Jeff, we'll deal with that later. Roger McCreary sitting down with us here on 104.5 The Zone. Jeff, I mean, we're on the air right now.
Carrot, you do a lot of talk on social media.
I'm right here, Jeff. We can talk anytime you want to. Unbelievable.
We got to make that happen.
Well, we'll deal with that later on. Roger McCreary sitting down with us here on 104.5 The Zone. Jeff, if you want to sit down and talk about this, we can talk about this.
I'm telling you, stop talking on social media. Talk to me.
I'm talking to you right here. Jeff, we tried to talk to you last week. I'm being rude to Roger. We'll deal with you later.
Yeah, I forgot about that last little line there.
Yeah, that was
inviting him
but
to
at
sit
that
down.
Point, he was.
I really wish he
wanted
would
it
have.
to
That would have
end
been an incredible conversation.
Okay, but can I say this?
Yep.
Big Jeff has to control those emotions in that moment. Don't roll your eyes at me, Ronald Sylvester Slay. Do not roll your eyes at me. But this is what I'm telling you. There were kids all right there. He has got to control his emotions in that moment. If he wants to rip Buck when he's not on air and when there's not kids around, I am all for it. Tell him what you think of him. Absolutely. But in that moment, I know he was emotional, but he has got to harness that.
Man, you bring it to my job, I got to bring it to your job. We're on even playing ground. Yes.
With kids around.
With kids
talking
around.
like that.
With kids. Listen,
no,
kids, I love y'all to death.
Wrong.
I love y'all to death, kids. Man,
You're
guess
wrong.
what? Guess what? The good thing I'm going to be me in front of the kids. I'm going to be me from behind the kids.
Yeah.
I smoke cigars in front of the kids. I smoke cigars on the porch when it ain't no kids.
That is
this
true.
This is
you do
me.
smoke in front of baby Babs.
This is my thing. Like I'm saying, he wanted to address it right then, and I don't think he would have if he didn't go out there and tweet that. He just told him, dude, you do a lot of talking on Twitter.
Are you talking about the tweet today?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay,
I think that's what sent him over the edge.
A lot of talking
there
on
is
Twitter.
no reason that Big Jeff should have even known that tweet happened
That's
today.
a culmination of things, though, Babsy.
He has got to put the blinders on.
There's 70 other guys in that locker room. You think Big Jeff had to look at his phone for somebody to tell him?
I'm just saying.
That lets you know the word going around.
But the thing is, you cannot allow and I love you, Buck, but you can't allow a peon reporter to get to you like that.
Guess what?
That's included.
Guess what? I'm walking back out there, too.
All of us.
I'm walking back out there, too.
All of us.
I'm walking back out there, too. I got something to say.
You are.
Yeah. And I want to make sure everybody hear it.
It had to
because everybody just heard your rant 4 weeks ago.
This was building.
And nobody stopped
This was
it?
building. And then you had the fight and all that stuff. And so you're already at an emotional thing. And practice had just ended. And he went in the building. And probably what you said probably happened. Somebody told him.
Easily. Man.
And then he's going to go address it.
What are you talking about?
Imagine if he was in a media market like D.C.
It's cool.
Or Philly.
It's cool.
Or even, perfect example, like Mason Rudolph came over after he was signing autographs and
this is different.
Was like, oh my gosh, this was amazing. These people are so nice and they're saying please and thank you and they're letting someone go in front of them because there's a kid. He's like, I've never seen anything like this because Pittsburgh was different. The media market in Pittsburgh is different. Imagine if Jeff were in one of those markets.
Yeah, guess what they would have been saying? You better deliver, and he's been delivering. So what you talking about with me? What am I doing that's soft? What have I showed you that was ever soft? What did I ever show you that I was out of control?
But Bud called him soft from an emotional standpoint of letting media.
That word is a trigger
You know
word.
what
That word's a trigger word.
Soft is the trigger.
Yeah.
What?
It's huge. All right, let's do this.
SAWFT.
Let's do this.
Soft slate.
This will be a continuing conversation throughout today's show.